My name is Ray.
Hi, this is Michael.
Welcome to another episode of Ray's Economics Clue Book. Today, we're talking about the Phillips curve and how that relates to the ADS model and corresponds with it.
Okay.
So, about the ADS model, as some quick review, basically, we see expansionary policy in the short run and long run. For instance, the government increases spending or decreases taxes or interest rates. So, if the government goes through a fiscal expansionary policy, then in the short run, we see our aggregate demand curve shift to the right, causing our price level and our real GDP or production to increase, output to increase. Sure. However, in the long run, we see our aggregate supply curve shift to the left to return our output to original potential output level, and to see our price level to increase even further. This is due to the fact for two reasons. In the long run, wages are not sticky; they're variable. So, as prices increase, workers will bargain or negotiate for higher wages due to an increase in prices. And so, of course, once these higher wages get negotiated, companies will decrease output. And secondly, as companies experience higher prices, they will expect even more inflation or higher price levels in the future. So they will lower production right now because they expect higher prices or higher profit potentials in the long run. And so they will see their aggregate supply curve shift to the left. So in the long run, in our ADS model, our real output does not change, but our price level increases from PLA to PLB to PLC.
Yeah, so we can clearly see a pathway from A to B to C.
Yeah.
So the real GDP first increase, then go back to the original. Yeah.
So basically the same story happens in the Phillips curve, because the Phillips curve does not look at the real output, it looks at unemployment rate. And so, of course, through expansionary policy, our unemployment rate will decrease. So in our short run Phillips curve right here, we'll see our unemployment rate go from UA to UB, from point A to point B on the Phillips curve, and our price level, of course, increases. However, in the long run, what we will see here is that, of course, we talk about aggregate supply shifts to the left in the long run, the ADS model. As aggregate supply shifts to the left, there's, of course, a decrease in production, which increases unemployment. And so our unemployment rate in the Phillips curve will increase back to its original UA level. However, its price level will continue to increase. So what happened here is that our short run Phillips curve will shift to the right so that it can reach the long run Phillips curve. And so this will be then our long run short Phillips curve of point. As well as point C. The Phillips curve, basically what happens is in the short run we go from point A to point B. In the long run we go to point C after our Phillips curve shifts to the right to reach the long run potential Phillips curve and to reach our original natural unemployment rate.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. And ADS model we have been discussing that for many times. Okay. So Phillips curves actually is discussing its first term. But I want to point out that is for the AD curve shift, actually that results in a sliding up on the PC curve. There's no new short run PC curve, but just a sliding up from A to B. But if the S curve shifted to the left, then the PC curve also shifted to the right, as Ray just drawn it. So we have an additional PC curve. So AS shift results in PC shift.
Yes.
Okay. So I think I think that's pretty important.
So, on the contrary, the government pursues contractionary policy, such as increasing household taxes, increasing interest rate, or decreasing government spending, such as decreasing military spending. What happens is our aggregate demand shifts to the left, and as we have the aggregate demand shifts to the left, our price level decreases and the real output decreases in the short run. However, what happens is the contrary happens in the long run. The aggregate supply shifts to the right to go back to original output level, or potential output level, at an even lower price level. This is due to the fact in the long run, of course, wages are not sticky, and so wages are variable. So as prices are lower for producers, profits are lower, so they want to decrease costs. They decrease costs by decreasing wages. So this, of course, will increase their output level, shift to aggregate supply to the right. Also, as companies see lower price levels, they will expect even lower price levels in the future. So they'll increase output now so that they can make more profits now, and then in the future they'll have less profits. And so, of course, aggregate supply will shift to the right, and so we will see price level decrease from PLA to PLB to PLC, but our real output stays constant in the long run at YC. And so the Phillips curve, the same thing happens, except once again we're looking at unemployment. And so here, Phillips curve, we see our unemployment rate increases and our price level decreases. We go from point A to point B.
It's a sliding down.
However, as in the long run, as aggregate supply shifts to the right, which means more output, which means more production, which means more employment and less unemployment. And so our unemployment rate would decrease back to original natural rate of unemployment on the long run Phillips curve. And our Phillips curve in the short run, basically we see a shift to the left to reach the long run Phillips curve. We see Phillips curve shift to the left,
Yeah.
you see an even lower price level. So our price level decreases from PA to PB to PC, but our unemployment rate increases in the short run from UA to UB, but decreases back to UA or the natural rate of unemployment in the long run.
Yeah, which is NARU or NRU. Okay.
Natural.
Natural rate of unemployment or non-accelerating inflation rate of unemployment. NARU. Okay. So again, I think that's pretty much the same story, but just reversed.
Yes.
Right. But the thing is, I want to point out again, the AD curve shift, no matter shift to the left or right, it's just a sliding up or down.
That's a good point. Basically, the shift of the AD curve in the short run does not shift the Phillips curve. It only causes a shift along the Phillips curve,
which means sliding up or down, right? Okay.
But a shift of the aggregate supply curve in the long run does shift the entire short run Phillips curve, so that it reaches the long run Phillips curve once again.
Yeah. So the short run S curve shift results in short run the PC curve shift.
Yes.
Okay.
And so basically, we're talking about our final clues. Basically, our short run aggregate demand shifts will result in the slide up and down of the short run Phillips curve, as Michael mentioned. A very good point. But in the long run, aggregate supply shifts will result in the short run Phillips curve shift, so that it reaches the long run Phillips curve and goes back to the original natural rate of unemployment.
So the basic thing is the AD curve shift results in PC curve sliding up, down. But AS curve shift results in the PC curve shift also. Okay, so that's pretty important points, and that actually establishes how these two models interact with each other.
Yes.
Right. So we'll discuss the next chapters in the future. Bye bye.